I'm very excited. Your channel has helped me a lot.
I'm glad.
It's actually I actually was afraid of um tarot for a really long time. And mostly what I learned later in life was actually when I disconnected from my family is when I started getting all these downloads and things like that. So it was like I was finally getting pieces of a puzzle that I wasn't able to get when I was around them. Um, and then I discovered I had DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. Um, uh, After I finally, and what I realized was I was being um, just a like Britney Spears, just everybody siphoning my energy, my resources, just yeah. So I'm very excited because I didn't know where I was for the longest time, and the only way that I knew before was when I was introduced. I actually was. It's weird. I'm sorry. I
No, don't
ADHD.
apologize. No, don't
Okay.
apologize for anything. No, you're
Okay.
fine.
Um, but I really want to use, my story about DID, um, because I think it's really, really important to understand like how that affects us on a spiritual level. And and Mary Magdalene for me is, oh my, I believe that she had that when they were casting out the demons. I
Right.
believe that she had that, which always makes me really sad about her not being having a book in the Bible, her not being acknowledged and given praise the way that she should be. So it was it's just been a journey of discovery since
Right.
it's actually, it also, so I have your questions here that help me keep on track because my ADHD can be,
It's okay. I'm all over the place too.
okay.
I am. Like we could go, you may say something and I'll go that way. I'll try and stay on track, you know.
Okay. You're okay. That's good.
We'll go with the flow and
Okay.
let it, yeah. So just speak about whatever. We'll let God lead.
God lead. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was praying last night and stuff. So, but yeah, it's helped. Like, it's crazy. I My family used tarot for a very long time to stalk me, to steal my identity,
Wow.
to find me when I was trying to escape, their hold. My parents raised me, I call them in a cult of one, where they each brainwashed me and did like my dad used sonic warfare on me when I was a little girl, like to yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing until I was away. So it's just and I and tarot has been such an important part of it, because it tells me where I'm at, and especially where I was with my DID. It actually let me know where each one of them was at because I've
Wow.
actually integrated all but one.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, all but
That's
one.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's actually been the last few couple of months. I started getting tarot on my feed in December, and I was just really, I didn't. I accidentally I accidentally joined a cult, which makes it that's actually how I figured out I was raised by my how my parents raised me, a church. So I was there for 2 years, but man, I learned a lot of lessons. And the crazy thing was, this is how amazing God is, especially with his neurodivergent children, because we have to have something that is so like obvious sometimes so that we
Right.
catch on to what God is trying to do. So he would actually have people come into my life that had the same birthdays as my family members, and then they would subsequently have the same type of behaviors and patterns and things. They even had it was like it's actually where I learned collective consciousness. And so it was necessary for me to go through that because I needed to learn where I came from so that I could heal it. And I've been studying like on my own epigenetics, I don't know if you are familiar with that.
No, can you explain?
Oh my God, it's incredible. Okay, so
Okay.
epigenetics is it's like the landscape of your ancestry and your DNA. And it actually
Okay.
is about where, you know how in utero where we when a woman is pregnant, everything that she feels has gone through and the ones about before her, that child will inherit.
Right.
And so what will happen is when that child is around certain stimuli, certain environments, your DNA actually reacts to that. And sometimes people don't know why they have anxiety. They don't know why they have depression. And I believe that it goes back to epigenetics, which
Right.
actually Hippocrates actually uh, came up with that. And he actually brought up the fact that you need to include spiritual health in health, which we don't do in Western medicine, and you know, I got diagnosed in 2016 with a very rare neuromuscular autoimmune disorder called stiff man syndrome. It's the same thing Celine Dion has, if anybody, if you um and it was a culmination just never being if essentially my nervous system got fried. So I see our bodies as like our chakras are like our engines, our pistons, we got to keep those good and clear and drink plenty of
Right.
water. And then just all of that stuff matters, and it matters what you are doing with God, I hope I'm making sense
You
because
are absolutely, and I'm so
okay. I
intrigued.
wonder.
Uh,
I'm usually alone when I'm figuring this stuff out, and so now I've been coming out of hiding, so
no, you're making absolute sense. I
okay.
can understand what you
Okay,
are.
good.
Yeah, it's
Makes me feel
fantastic.
yeah,
Because
so yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
because I didn't know the name of it, so that's how I work. I may not know the name of it, but I'm aware of it. So that's how God will give me the downloads. He's like, I'm going to give you these messages or have you experience it, but I don't go as far as what you've done as to find out the actual name. So I think it's incredible how he brings us all together. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. No, I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Like, I
Yeah.
agree. This is incredible because it's
Yeah.
true.
It is true. And actually I'm so happy and excited because my last girl, I call them my girls, because there was four of us and then me, so there's five total. I think there were more before that were younger and like infant and toddlers that I had already absorbed a few years prior. And actually, I don't know if this is allowed, and you could take this out
No,
if you want,
please.
but like
Yeah.
cannabis was actually very, very, very important when healing DID, because when you smoke cannabis, you're like all your anxiety, all of that stuff goes away. So it actually opens you up to where and then switching can be painful because your DNA, like your body changes when you switch. So cannabis allowed me to be able to switch like this so I could get a piece of everybody's. So I was able to, like, instead of having Swiss cheese for memory, I'm almost to a whole slice of cheese
Wow. Okay. That's
with no
awesome.
holes in it. If I, yeah. So, yeah, it's been a journey. I, I grew up thinking that God hated me. Um, my dad was very good at manipulating and using the Bible as a weapon. He literally used the story of Lot and his daughters to make me as a 7 to 12-year-old child, make me take the blame. He put the blame on me, like I did that to him versus him doing that to me, if that makes
It does.
sense. So and it's weird because the last few years God showed me where I was never alone. And when I started having flashbacks, he would show me where he what we would do. I actually started getting memories of when I lived in Alaska. I lived in Salcha, and that's where the Salt Jacket Indians and Athabascan Indians were. And I was by myself a lot out in nature. I also did dog sledding and skiing and stuff. So I was like, I would go way into the woods and just I um sorry, I lost my train of thought. That my
No,
thought
it's okay.
but essentially like my parents just it was a they just really made me feel like I wasn't even deserving of God's love. And it took me literally walking away from everybody. And I mean, my mother just tried to send me money and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm not answering it. I'm going to pray over the money because I need it for gas. But
Right, but let's make sure we pray over it.
yeah, I'm like, I don't want to have any exchange where there's an energetic cord because they're my aunts and my mother are a coven. They practice as a coven. Like, and I've seen the dark things that they do. And not only to me, but I thought that, I was raised, it was normalized. But when I saw how it would affect other people and their lives and how their lives would get turned upside down because of them doing things like that. It just, and then it being used against me with the Bible too. Just my spirituality took a long time. But I would say the thing that triggered, just to answer that first question, the spiritual journey and finding faith in 2016. Oh, excuse me, confirmation burp.
That was
Okay.
a confirmation. Yeah, that was
Um,
confirmation.
I love it. I'm like, Holy Spirit, can you
Spirit,
other ways? And
spirit,
then he
yeah.
gives me the other end, and I'm like, okay, let's not go that way either. So, but in 2016, or no, I'm sorry, 2015, and my ex-husband, like, who is, actually, I come from a family of narcissists. I've literally been around nothing but narcissists my entire life. That's all I knew. So when I finally got away from everybody and I was like, oh my God, there are kind people out
There
in
are
the world.
actually nice people in the
There's nice
world.
people. Like my family made me afraid of everybody else when I was like, no, I needed to be afraid of them. So,
Right.
so I was I moved to New York City. I was just broken down after an abusive relationship that I was in for 4 years, and my ex-husband is abusive as well. But he came back saying he was a changed man and so on and so forth. And for
Been
the sake,
there.
yeah, okay. So
Been
I,
there.
my son, he was very loving and forgiving. And I actually have a picture of him the day before we left to New York City. And his shine, he just glows with light. And it's been, we left when he was 12 and he's 19 now. And he's still, um, struggling with the things and we only lived with his dad for a year. So so
Wow.
yeah, it's that
The
bad. So
trauma.
yeah, big time for both of us. So that's actually when I got diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, which I believe that God was like, if I don't do this now, you'll die. He'll kill you. Um, so because he was literally trying to control my praying, telling me that God didn't want to hear from me, don't talk to him all the time. He
Right.
doesn't want to hear from you, like things like that, literally diminishing my voice to where I was talking like this. I was like
Yeah.
whispering. That's how I was talking, like diminished my voice. So, but that all my family did that. I mean, I actually married my mother in male form, but she's very masculine. So it kind of makes sense. But I was at Hillsong Church and I couldn't even handle a Bible at that time. And they were singing a song and I really connect with God with music. Because music means a lot to me. And I played several instruments growing up and stuff. So it just um it just touches your soul, like we all
I
know.
love music. I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And the song that they were singing on stage was Oceans. And I don't know if you've ever heard that song before, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it's literally a song about you feel like you're drowning, but you're not, because God has you. But I finally like raised my hands, and that was me and God gave me a vision that was it was like a projection over the performers that were singing, and he showed me from birth until that moment that
Wow.
he never left me, and I was
Of course
blown
not.
away. Well, I didn't know people would be jealous and envious of spiritual gifts. And my ex-husband was very, very angry that I was having visions and things like that. But his friend, who was a pastor, was really excited. He was like, "That's incredible. That's awesome." And then it just so that's when he, started to control and things like that. And then I got sick. Um,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
But I actually think I've had this for a very long time, but it being with him again, it just he fried my nervous system again, like frying a
Yeah.
motherboard. So they don't have to hit you to kill you.
No,
They can
no.
no,
Yeah.
so they can kill you through your nervous system, folks. So
Right.
and since then I it's like and then God was, so God literally was like, okay, things are gonna get wild, so I need you to hold on. And boy, did they get wild. It took me being sick to finally get a divorce. Um, so you too? What? Wow.
I almost died.
Me too. I went to cardiac arrest twice.
I almost died. I was so
Oh my God.
sick.
Oh,
I had, I was in a very abusive relationship with, I do believe narcissists have demonic entities attached to
mhm.
them.
They do.
Absolutely.
I
There
can
are,
see them.
I can too.
Oh,
I,
it grosses me out. And I'll
I
get
can
some
too.
pictures of things that aren't mine. Oh, okay. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like just
No, that's okay. That's okay, but I can
I don't want you
understand,
to
I
like
can
stop
relate,
telling you
but that's God. No, but going
that
back to
is.
God, that's him. And it's like we almost have to see. So like I was in a car accident and then I almost died on an operating table and then there was abuse in the home and then he like my nervous system. I was so sick. So sick. I was losing my hair, I was throwing up blood,
Oh my God.
endoscopies, colonoscopy, but God, so until I was able to see and I started praying and see, it's interesting what you're saying because when I would cleanse or pray, my ex would like storm in where I was praying and like interrupt my prayer.
Oh,
Or he would tell me like, I don't know why you cleanse that SHIT doesn't work anyways. And then that's when finally at the end when he told me, I don't believe in God, I believe in so and so. He said that to me and I looked at him. Yeah, he God exposed him and I knew it would get ugly. I knew it would.
yeah.
So, but I had to. So what God said to you was like, hold on, it's gonna get bumpy. Absolutely, it does.
It did. It got so
Very,
bumpy.
very
It got, oh my
much.
God. That's when I almost died. That's when, like all my aunts forced me to sign a power of attorney, giving my mother complete control over my life under duress. It was like I had to sign that in order for me to to stay at my, to get my stuff moved out of California back to North Carolina. That's so funny that you have a La Mesa number because that's literally where my aunt
I
and
lived
my
in San Carlos. I lived
wow,
in San Diego.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. I loved it. That's crazy. So yeah, we lived in Oceanside for a little while, and I
I did
loved.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, we were 10 minutes from the beach.
right.
My son was a little David Attenborough going out there and picking up mole crabs and showing them to strangers
I
like, hey,
love I loved San Diego. It just the energy got really dark. We lived in
yeah.
Del Mar Heights, which was like 10 minutes from the
Oh,
beach. Yeah,
that's a nice area.
yeah. So we because we were like we moved so many times when I was in my old relationship. And then we had to escape so many times and like move from place to place to place. And then we were homeless, me and my kid.
Oh, me
And
too. We were in a shelter for 5 months. We were homeless.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Um, What is that? What was that like for you with the domestic violence shelter? Did they help you? Did,
Oh my God, you're gonna love this. Oh my, okay, so I was terrified and I went to this shelter and it was in a town. I'm in Arkansas, so it was in a town north of here in the mountains by the lake. That's by Heber Springs in Heber Springs is what it's called. And the crazy thing was is I called my bank to make
Mhm.
arrangements for my car payments because I knew something was coming. And the lady that I got, she could hear in my voice something really, really wrong. And she kept asking me, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I had never talked to anybody or revealed anything that ever happened to me in my past. I literally suppressed it. I shut it to, like I was just I actually got I was actually brainwashed into like um it just like normalizing it. Like even as an 18-year
Yeah,
old, my
right.
aunts were trying to marry me off to a 30, like men in their mid 30s. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it was like, it wasn't even, it was weird. For me, it was like, I only got complimented on cleaning and getting me married off while all their kids went or, go to colleges and things like that. And here I am at 42. I'm now finally getting to go to college.
That's
Which
awesome. Congratulations. I'm
Thank
happy.
you.
You're
We're
welcome.
actually, my son and I are going together. So
I love it.
me too. I
That's
was like, God, I didn't
awesome.
expect that. So he works in wonderful ways because even my son, and I've talked to him about this before. My ex-husband trapped me with him because I was trying to leave him. And so, I told him I wasn't ready to have a child yet. And it just, oh man. So it's really crazy. I ended up having a miscarriage the same on the Thanksgiving week the year before. Then I got pregnant, and then my son was born during the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
that was the baby. That's the baby.
and the crazy thing is my grandpa died that summer before I had that miscarriage. And my son is just like him.
That's
Their birthdays are 10
amazing.
days apart. This boy has like his geopolitical knowledge and military and just, operations that have been done, treaties, how borders were created, why they were created. Like he knows, I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge and
That's
he's
amazing.
incredible.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you
Thank you.
and for him. Yeah,
Thank you. That makes me really
welcome.
happy. And I'm happy for you too.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'm like you've shared a little bit of your story on your videos and stuff. And but you know how somebody has like had a similar experience. Like it's kind of like you almost find each other and you're like, "Oh, you too,"
Yeah, it's
Um,
not, it's like, oh my gosh, I went through that too. And now
yeah,
I'm like with God and I'm on this healing journey and he saved my life. But yeah, I can relate because I've been through that and that and that and that. And I think it's amazing
yeah.
that he brings us together.
Yeah. So staying at the shelter was really it was actually really crazy. Um when I got there, I was really scared, but there was only two other ladies or one other lady in the house and I was alone, and then the next day another lady came, and then it was like there was four of us in the house, which was great because we all got our own rooms. I shared a room with my son. We had bunk beds, stuff.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
it was, it was very interesting. But the weird thing was in October, we went into the shelter. It was either the end of July or the beginning of August. And in October, this lady came and she insisted on being taken to this shelter. And this lady was a dark, 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 dark witch. Like, oh my, she was literally making people in the house so sick. that they were like
Right.
one lady was having respiratory issues. So we literally all had to take turns making sure that she was on her oxygen for like a 48
Oh
hour
my
period because
God.
that's how sick people would get being around her. And I refused to have anything to do with her. So she just started practicing witchcraft on me. Now, the crazy thing was that she had the same birthday as my dad's mom.
There you go. Yeah.
And my dad's mom is a Reiki healer. And what she used to do with Reiki was in the
Yeah.
summers when I go visit, she'd heal me up and then she'd send me back to my dad to endure torture, like
Wow.
literal torture, like things that are not even legal to do at Guantanamo Bay. Because my dad was Air Force.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, um, I don't, I'm learning that I'm really in the process of just like learning about my family, my heritage, which I mentioned in the email, it being Gunayala, uh, Choctaw, and Cree, and then having English, French, and German. And I'm like, I got three colonizing countries.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, it's just been but I never thought I would be like watching tarot again. But it was God had to purify me and prune me
Right.
and
That's what
make
he
sure that
does.
I was worshiping him and I understood how this actually works and not the way that my family made it work,
We
where
have to
you
worship only God. That's
only
just what it
yeah.
is.
Yeah. And so that's a very yeah, that's so wild that you I'm just blown away at I think at just how similar our stories.
Yeah, but he throws us into certain situations for a
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
He
I
really
do feel like
does.
he does. And when you said, you felt like a spy, that I'm like, yeah, I feel like we're his secret agents that go into dark
That's,
places
yeah,
to shine a light onto the darkness that's happening there. Like with that church, this is a very, very, very small town where I live. And so with that church, they're trying to make out like I am not a good person. I am not a whole, I'm not a godly person, like I don't that I'm doing things that I'm not. You know what narcissists do? They tell on themselves by projecting onto somebody else what they're doing.
yeah, right.
So, so yeah, they've been trying hard. Even her husband has been stalking me. So I'm gonna be moving soon. I
That's
have five
crazy.
stalkers.
Wow. You're like,
Yeah,
which one today?
I know. Well, so I roller skate. I street skate on quads. Like I go down hills and hill bomb and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, and I'm the only one that does it in this town. So I um, like kids in this town, like especially the girls, they've been getting out more. And like,
That's
I've even had
cool.
parents roll down their window and be like, "Hey, my kids love you." And I'm like, "Hey, okay." I'm just trying to exercise, but okay, cool. But, uh, oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I hate it when my thought
No.
bubbles go boop.
You have
Um,
five stalkers.
oh yes. So yeah, the husband of the couple that I told you about at the church that lived in Louisiana and learned voodoo and started practicing it. They've been essentially like, and her husband has gotten behind me in his truck and like while I'm on my skates and just driving behind me. And I actually could feel his energy, like, and I was like, something's wrong. So I'm gonna have to go get a weapon or something. Because like
You give them to God and you
I
take the steps and move.
that's
Get
actually
away
what
from
I'm
it.
doing. But
Yeah.
I think just because I'm a woman alone and stuff, and because of my disability, I feel like it would be smart of me to get
Like pepper
something.
spray or something.
I have
Pepper.
pepper spray. But I will, yeah,
Taser. Maybe a taser would be good.
yeah, I think a taser would be good because you can shoot those out and you know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually probably a better shot than a than a pistol or something,
Well, yeah, those are
which
so
makes me
dangerous,
nervous.
but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, I like to shoot shotguns and stuff, like not animals or anything, but I like to hang
Oh,
cocoa.
so you know how to shoot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been
Oh,
shooting
well,
since
then
I
there
was
you
six,
go.
or 6 or 7, I think, is when I first started shooting
Okay.
like shotgun. But my
Okay.
favorite thing to do is like you hang Coke bottles or soda bottles in the trees, and you you gotta like go with it. So it's just
There you
that's
go.
always that's always a lot of fun to do. Yeah, growing up in Alaska and where I grew up in North Carolina, plus going to Washington every summer, I'm definitely an outdoorsy. I'm a tree
Yeah.
hugger. I cry when I see these massive, beautiful old
Right.
trees get cut down. I'm like, can you build it somewhere else where you already have cleared land?
Land? Yeah, like why do you have
Stop,
to do that?
stop
Yeah.
taking our beautiful oxygen producing trees, yo. Like,
They're alive. They're beautiful. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they have so much knowledge as
they
well. Like,
do. They
stop.
have everything has a vibration. And
Yeah.
I've been telling people like even our food has a vibration, but
Yep.
canned food doesn't because you're killing it. So if you eat nothing but canned food, you're not getting any sustenance because those vibrations literally matter to keep our systems going and healing and things like that. I think that's why people who have cancer, when they change their diet,
Yeah.
that I mean, a lot of people can, it's not to say that it cures it or anything, but it certainly helps, you know. So it's just, I mean, I've even had to make some changes because of my disability and things like that. And also being bit by ticks. Getting Lyme. I can't eat meat anymore, and I'm so sad. I'm like, I go to like a smokehouse and I'll smell their like barbecue just to
You're
try
like,
to remember the
man.
taste. So,
So, how did that happen? How did that happen?
um, in North Carolina, I know they have ticks, but I'm pretty sure I got bit by a tick when I was like a teenager. I actually found one like crawling into the pore of my face one time. It was that tiny, and I pulled it out with tweezers. I was like, oh my,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, and I've just had them just because I'm being outdoors and stuff like that. Um, it and
Yeah.
not just you probably being a kid and just not paying attention, or it coming in with an animal, one of our pets or something, and we're not realizing it. So, because I always put like turmeric for my animals in their food. Well, my cat won't touch it, but my dog, God rest her soul, uh. I would put that in there and she would never get fleas or ticks
Oh, that's
with
amazing.
yeah. So I'm very so uh I'm so sorry. I'm like losing my train of thought and
Don't
act.
apologize. Don't apologize. It sounds like you have gone through a lot between your family dynamic,
Yeah.
who practiced dark witchcraft against you that you got away from, and
Yeah.
then was led to a false church. I'm just going to say that a false church
Okay. That
who
works.
practiced dark spell work, right? I mean,
Yeah, they would pray against me and I would feel
that's
it
a
like
false church.
yeah,
Yeah.
things it was like things were falling apart and thing I remember in my first apartment that I had, I I was flooded with flies.
Yeah, that's dark spell work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's dark, and I didn't know that. So it was like I was being forced to look into these things so that I could pray against them and I could take care of
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
So I mean, God was literally just strengthening my faith muscle. That's what he was doing. Now,
That's
I mean, I see
exactly.
that now.
At the
In the
time, it's
midst
not
of it, I was like, what's
fun.
happening?
Yeah, at the time, it's not fun. I remember that happened. I walked out of my house and I had like gnats everywhere. I was like, where did you come
Yeah,
from? Me
I
and
actually have
Ryan, we got rid of
gnats.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have gnats right now and they're like they'll go in my freezer and die. I have
Mhm.
never, ever, ever, ever seen that. Now, my nurse that gives me my infusions, she said that's a normal thing for here. And I'm like, are you sure? Because like I've lived in some very,
Are you cleansing your space? Are you cleansing, taking like
I
holy
pray over
water?
my space and I also put on those, like the energy clearing sound, uh,
Okay.
like I like to do the hertz.
Yeah.
The I can't remember the numbers. Sometimes it's like our 369. I think
Yeah.
there's like But there's one that starts with a five. I can't.
528?
I think yes, yes, 528.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a couple more. I Metatron is like a
Yeah.
very so I definitely I pray to God and just I recite Psalms 91 and also Ephesians 6:12 with the armor of God and
Right.
I pray and put that on my son, my cat. I love my cat. God brought him into our lives too at the end of my dog's life, which she needed that.
It's
And he needed
awesome.
that too. And but not only that, like there's been times where he's hissed in the hall when my son and I are in like our bedrooms and he'll hiss at something. So I like, but ever since I've had him, it's been better. But I will say like just because of some situations that I've run into here, um, people if they know what my disability is, it's like they practice dark things against me to make me tired and drained and to try to keep me from moving forward with my vision, with the visions God is giving me and the things that he wants me to
Right.
do.
Right.
Um, so, but he's bringing in opportunities. It's just I'm having to fight through. But it was weird. Last night I journaled for a very long time. I think I wrote like 6 pages to God last night. I was up till 3 o'clock this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep. I woke up at like 5:43. That's what
Okay.
time I woke up this morning.
Yeah, 540.
And I had this amazing energy. It was like a burst of energy. And I was like, "Oh man, I've been waiting for this. I needed it really bad." So but he again, I think like in those moments he's wanting me to discern whose energy it is. He's wanting me to um use my voice to speak against it. Um
Absolutely. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when so many people around me were like diminishing me and making me very small. So, like I think you had a video not long ago where you did talk about that, don't dim your light and things like that. And like it's so wild the confirmations that I get through your through your
Really? I'm
Yes, oh
glad
my
because I
gosh,
don't know who I'm talking to. I asked before I do it, I ask God, I'm like, I am a vessel. Please use me, give me guidance. And I literally praise him, sing with him before I start my work every day.
awesome. I love that. That's really
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
That's
that's what I do.
beautiful. I
So
I
that's
really
great.
like that. I think that's why I really love your channel too, is how much you do incorporate God into into your life and into this. And
He's in my
that's
whole life.
yeah. And it's he's actually leading me to do it now. Because I did try to do it before, but every time he'd be like, no, 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 not for you, daughter. It was like
Yeah,
he had to, this is before I knew I had DID and all that other stuff
right.
going on. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, but I had to grow and I had to build my faith muscle so that when I would start practicing to help people, that it would be centered around him he'd be
absolutely.
like that third chord strand and whoever I was communicating with
Absolutely.
energetically.
Yeah.
Because I believe I mean, I know that they say that's for marriage, but I feel like that's for any relationship that you're in. Like, God brings people together, but he's also going to be that third strand of that braid.
Absolutely. I just had this conversation with my son. We were sitting there. Because God will bring people into our lives to teach us things or to teach them things, but one of the most important things is knowing that it's God and then ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We love ourselves. We don't sacrifice ourselves. We don't love any human or anything more than we love God, but He will bring in our divine counterpart. I just had this conversation with God last night because I was like, I don't think I have a divine counterpart. I said that
Oh,
to, I don't. I really don't.
I actually feel that way now because every time I like somebody and I connect with them, it just there's always like this it's just a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm like
I give up.
I told him last night I completely give up. Like I don't think I have one. I think it's me and you. It's me and
You know
you.
what? That's actually what I was writing in my journal last night about that. I was like, God, I know, but
I'm good with
I
it.
don't want,
It's
I just don't
peaceful.
want to say I'm ungrateful, but it's like, God, I've spent all these years, I wasn't celebrated in my family. Like my birthdays weren't celebrated. I had one birthday
Exactly.
party, and that's because somebody else, not my parents, gave me a birthday party. Um, my grandmother did, my Oma did. Um,
See, as my like in my childhood, when it came to my parents giving me birthdays on the outside, everything looked amazing. My parents were very loving, but and they loved each other very much. But my dad, was a very he had addictions. He was very sick, and it was from the loss of his father.
oh,
Yeah, so it was a very they loved their family so much, but then they had like their own demons creeping in, like
mm,
generational cycles, negative
yeah.
cycles that they could not seem to get rid of.
That's where
Um,
epigenetics comes in, I believe.
yeah. And then as I grew up, I married somebody who had addictions or
Yep.
was narcissistic or
Man.
whatever. But in my adult life, I was yeah, like never celebrated. Everyone else was so like what you're saying, but it wasn't so much my childhood. It was more like young adult. It was more like early, like 22,
Yeah.
all the way through. And it was like, oh, it's your birthday, then it has to be as terrible as possible.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't
That's so
apologize. No, because
sad.
God wanted it like that, so that
Yeah.
way I could not search outside myself for that validation and to like
Yeah, that's very true.
why should that person validate me for the day that I was brought here? Why do I need you to get me a cake and flowers when I can do it for
Did it
myself?
myself.
I'm gonna get it myself. So that's where I think I'm at with a divine counterpart because I'm not going to that part again of my life. It's like if you can add to my table.
That,
And you can love God as much as I love God, and you're kind,
yeah.
and I'm attracted to you. I say that to
That's
God.
important.
I'm attracted to you, please. But yeah, many things, but it has to be godly. I'm not saying religious. I'm not
No,
going to
not a
judge on,
religious. No, we
no,
don't do Pharisees
no,
and Sadducees. We do
no.
relationship over
We
here
do
with the Lord.
relationship. Yeah, exactly. This is between us. Exactly.
Yeah.
And God Himself. So it's not like, I don't want somebody judgmental. So I told God, God, my list is a little bit long. Um,
I'm afraid to make one. I'm like, God, just be my matchmaker. You know what I like, what I don't like. Just please don't let him be a narcissist.
I don't want any more narcissists.
No,
I don't want a covert narcissist. I don't want a grandiose. I don't want any of that. I just want to be left alone.
yeah. And right now, this is such an incredible time in history because we're literally seeing live action division of wheat and tares. We are seeing live action the book of Revelation. Like, I actually took a picture of this. I saw a cloud in the shape of an angel with a horn. I was like, okay, I
What?
know. Yeah. I took a picture of it. I'm just like, okay, okay, this is real. I've had to, you know, real. That's real.
I
That's real.
know.
I'm not losing my mind. I'm not
It's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy the shifts happening. I felt it
Yeah,
last night. You said you got up at 5:43. I couldn't sleep till 5 a.m. God would not let me sleep.
really.
I
Because
was,
I could not go to sleep before like that. I think I fell asleep around 2:40 is like the last. Yeah, what's that? I don't know what that number is, but it means something. A confirmation. I was like, let me
yeah,
turn this on and see if these confirmation dings work and are like, and they do.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like I write my in my journal, which is paper instead of like on my computer or iPad, just because sometimes I'm like, is this real or an algorithm? Like,
No, it's good to, I like
oh,
paper too.
real
Exactly. I would prefer to write on paper.
confirmation burp.
Yeah. Paper. That feeling of that paper, the earth, the
Yeah,
tree, yeah. I even
that
like
gave it
pencil
like you what?
sometimes. I even like pencil sometimes.
What
I
what's pencil?
pencil to write in pencil rather
Oh,
than pen.
well, I like erasable pens. Just because
That's a good
I
idea.
yeah, they're the best. And I have erasable highlighters, which are great too. Because I don't, I think it's like, I've been told it's just symptoms of OCD. I don't have OCD, thank God, but like, I'll stop grocery shopping to rearrange my cart to a very neat. And so if I have
Okay.
erase marks or if I have scratch out marks or something, I can't do it. I have to be able to
You're like,
erase
I
it.
gotta start over.
Yeah. I even take pictures of my theater teacher or my film teacher. I even take pictures of the papers that he gives us just in case I need to print an extra one at home because I didn't like the way the first one turned out.
Uh,
So,
you have your beautiful quirks, but that's the way God made you.
yeah, and I didn't know these things about myself. I literally, God had to get me away from everybody so I could literally learn who I was,
You're
so
loved
that I could,
unconditionally. You
yeah.
are loved unconditionally.
Yeah.
Remember
And
that.
I
Don't ever
I
forget it.
finally yeah, and I finally feel that like more
Good.
than ever. You know, I actually consider myself an orphan
Yeah, me
because
too.
my parents didn't raise me. I raised them. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
try
It's
not to
okay.
cry. I saw the lady that you had before where she was I think it was Jehovah's Witness or
Angela?
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't watched hers yet because I have to take those in at a certain place mentally because of my own trauma regarding that, and it's just really sad to see so many people just so deeply hurt because the generation before didn't want to do the work, and it's really heartbreaking to see um, humans hurt humans
I know.
so gravely.
The
Um,
10 Commandments, we're not supposed to be hurting each other.
that's been part of my journey too, is instead of running away, God's not letting me run away anymore. He's making me stand strong. He's
Proud
making
of
me,
you. I'm
yeah,
proud of
thank you.
you.
Well, he's showing me that vengeance is his and that
Absolutely.
I don't have to do anything except operate in love.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I'm really excited to get to that point where I could actually say that. I can say that about myself. I can say I really love myself. I really like myself. I mean, you can love yourself, but a lot of people don't like themselves. Um, and that can be just as toxic, if not worse.
Remember, remember. So what I think, so God created us. He
Yeah.
flows through us. He's
Yes,
inside of us.
he is. I can
We
see.
love him.
Yeah.
He loves us. He likes us, right?
Yeah.
We like him. So when I look at me, I'm like, I see you inside my heart. I'm like, I love you. And
That's
that's what I think. Because it is hard. That is some of it can be very difficult to actually look yourself in your eyes, go into your soul, feel your heart, and know that this magnificent everything, father, mother, whatever you want to call God, um, really loves us
yeah.
and likes us and does not just. every quirk, every illness, every scar, every wound, every mistake, doesn't matter. And know that he's within our heart
Yeah.
and our soul. And when everyone else around us is like, be careful of that, you're doing this wrong, or, you need to do, or you're not good enough, or wah, 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 wah.
Like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Go away because God says this. And then you go to yourself and you look, yeah, go away. That's not what God says. Only God can do that. He's the one who
Yeah.
teaches me, and trust me, he will set those firm boundaries and teach us.
Oh
That's
yeah. And I'm
yeah.
so grateful. He taught me to have and he showed me that even Jesus had boundaries. And if Jesus is allowed to have boundaries, I'm allowed to have them too. And
Boundaries
so
are
that
so important.
yes, let me tell you, I've learned some very big lessons on what not to reveal to the wrong people. I'm laughing now, but
Isn't
so
it nice though that you could get to the point where you can laugh?
laugh. Yeah.
Just know how loved you are, and you say it to yourself.
Yeah.
He's within you.
Yes. I like to say, it's funny, like, I'm reading this great book that I think it's in my car. I will email it to you,
Okay.
but it's about this, spiritual medicine around the globe and how like this medicine, Ayurvedic medicine says this is how that translates to this. So it's like she's putting the Western medicine with the spiritual medicine from, from a long time ago. So
Mhm.
it's just a fascinating book. But that's really helped me manage my disability.
I would
Um,
love to check it out. Thank you. That's
yeah,
awesome
I
that you're
will
doing
I
that.
will
Yeah.
yeah, I will definitely send that to you. But what shoot, I was gonna say something something. Oh, I always crack up because when I see people do things that they think that God doesn't see, because it's like, do you think he's a man in the sky? I'm like, God is in us on a molecular level,
Uh-huh.
is in every cell,
Uh-huh.
every itty bit of us. So that means nobody's getting away with anything. And I think that a lot of a lot of people have taken advantage of the fact
I
that
think he's somewhere else. He's not
I
anywhere else.
know
He's right here.
he's right here
He
in
is
you
everything and he's in
everywhere.
here. So I don't know why you think you're like running from God because there's no running.
There,
You
but
run, he runs with
you,
you.
I would say no, right now I'm dealing with child support issues with my ex-husband. So I went a little bit nuclear. And I signed the affidavit and everything, but I put his wife's business, I put his wife's ex-mother-in-law. I that's how nuclear. That's only nuclear I went. But I wanted because I know that her business is like, she's helping him hide from child support.
Been
But
there too. My gosh, what's
yeah,
wrong with these?
it's
Mm.
insane. So I So I've been saying it for years. And it was when I was still very young with Jesus, although I think I had more knowledge than I realized. I thought I was very ignorant of the spirit of spirituality and the spiritual community. No, I actually know a lot. Like, because my parents and the books that like they would have, like I read the Egyptian Book of the Dead when I was a teen.
That's so cool though. That is so cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of Egyptian ties. Uh, So, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought again. So sorry.
I am no, you're good. You're good. I'm following you along like on all these twists and turns and
Oh,
look,
you are?
I
Okay,
am
I
and I
get
love
so
it.
worried.
No, don't.
To the audience, ADHD, y'all. I'm medicated, I swear.
God is within us. Oh,
He is.
the child
He is.
support trying to
Oh, the
hide.
child support. Yeah. So I've been saying for years, you can run from Jesus, but you can't hide.
No,
He's
you
gonna
cannot.
find you everywhere you go. He's gonna hunt your booty down. Like, so don't
Um,
don't do it.
yeah, yeah. And And it's like energetically, I would give it to God. Surrender, because if you chase it, you're pushing it away, but also at the same time, you need to get it, you know?
Right,
I mean, it
right.
belongs to you. It belongs to you. Claim it. This is for me. This is for my
Yeah,
child. It's for my son.
yeah. And that's what's happening. And it's crazy because I've been getting readings about like the court case going in my favor, and I'm just like, okay, this is okay. Because I was scared actually to turn that paper in. I kept having panic attacks, even filling it out. It's just because that's how afraid of him I am. He
Don't
was
be
a
a,
semi-pro MMA fighter and taught combatives in the army, so
yeah.
he was a very scary person. But I actually I have something kind of fun to share with you about like when Roman and I got my son's name is Roman, but when we got out of the shelter, it was crazy because we got our housing and CAPCA, which is like they help people move from shelters into houses by paying the deposits on the lights, the
That's
apartment,
awesome.
things like that. And on my driver's license, the last three numbers were my first apartment numbers. Yeah.
Wow.
This gets crazy. And then the street I lived on was Optimistic
There
Lane.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Optimistic Lane. I was like, okay, God. Okay. Because I was still like, I don't know if you're real. Like you really
He's
love me. I have feelings.
he loves you.
He does. And man, he has been working so hard to rebuild trust with me because of the experiences that I've had within the churches, within the Christian community, and especially with my parents using the Bible against me. Like my mom would do this, and I actually didn't even know this was a thing until recently. She would have me wear jewelry and then she would take it back and wear it, and she would actually siphon off of my energy. And now that I'm not around anymore, she has aged like really, she
That's a
aged
fact
so
too.
fast.
What you just said is a fact.
Yep.
That absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so I meant to share that earlier,
So
but
we can put pot that's why yeah, that's why like you can bless things. You can put positive intentions and positive energy, life force energy into jewelry. That's what I put holy water, I put
yeah,
prayers, I put love. I listen to healing frequencies. I'm like I'm
yeah,
listening to like, you know, my praise music and then frequencies and I'm in like this very high vibration and I'm like la di da 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 making my jewelry like really happy, positive intentions, you know? And
that's
that's
it.
what I do.
What kind of
So
jewelry do you make? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I ask
I
that.
can
Sorry.
make, yeah, I can make I make custom jewelry, but a lot of it's like stones, beads, crystals, just really pretty. Yeah. A lot of this, yes, I made this.
Oh, I've actually been looking at that. I'm like, oh, that's so
Yeah, I
pretty.
made
So I did
that
check
like
out your store.
yeah, and not everything is up on the store. That's why it's kind of like custom, because
Ah, okay.
everything that I've created, is really one of a kind, because you can't
Yeah.
duplicate natural,
Yeah.
so,
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
but when I'm done making it, I could feel like the life force energy. I'm like,
I am
so
getting
like,
goosebumps.
yeah, so like Puppy Moon is funny. Like I'll be making something and then I'll like ground and breathe. And she'll turn and look at me. I'm like, I'm just putting like positive intention and life force in there, puppy. And she's like, okay. And she's laying at my feet snoring. So
I
you
love
got me
her.
and Puppy Moon. I know. And
Oh,
that is how I do it, and but yes, other people can either hurt stuff or take the because you can take the energy.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to protect yourself. Yeah, but then when you
Yeah.
remove your energy, they do age. I've
They do.
seen it
Yeah.
firsthand.
Yep. All my aunts and my mother, but especially my mother, the movie Tangled?
Yes, and I would
That's
need to
actually
watch it again.
that's a very actually that's what my childhood was like. Literally feeding her
And
like
look at you
feeding.
shining bright now.
Thank you.
And are you 42?
Yeah, I'm going to be 43 on the 27th of this month.
You do not look like it at all. You look like, okay, to be honest, and I'm really bad at guessing this, but you look like 29.
Oh my God, thank you.
You
You know
look
what?
29.
I was figure skating at school in the gym, and this young man came in and he was talking to me. He was like, "Whoa, I've never seen anybody skate like that." Because I'll figure skate on my skates, which people didn't even know that was a thing. Although I've been enlightening them to that. But even he said he's when I told him my age and that my son was going to school there, his mouth literally went,
He's
"You
like,
do
what?
not look it. You look like you're 28. So for you to say
Yeah.
29, I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
You're like, thank you.
Thank you.
True.
I always say the joy of the Lord and roller skating. Jesus and roller skating keeps me youthful.
Thank you. No, it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
I am a firm believer, and I try to spread this gospel everywhere I go. If people want to get close to Jesus, be in your go back to your childhood, pick an activity that you loved doing and start doing it again.
Oh my gosh, you are so brilliant. This is so true. Okay,
Yeah.
when I was a little girl, we lived in Palm Springs. We lived in the desert and we had these giant boulders and I would go outside and it was all white quartz.
Oh, wow.
And then we had bougainvillea and we had this and we had that, right? But
Oh,
I would sit out there on these giant quartz boulders and I would like talk to God. And I'm sure I was talking to like my spirit guide. Who knows who I was talking to when I was this like, year old little girl. And every year or every day as I got older, I would sit out there and I would play with the rocks. And I'm like, I'm going to be a jeweler and a gemologist, and I'm going to design them and create when I am older. That's what I wanted to do when I was a little girl. And I would play with those rocks and I would put them, and my mom would get me stuff and I'd put them together and I would play by myself peaceful. But that's exactly what I told God I was going to do.
oh
Um,
my God. That's so
so
awesome.
so last night when I was feeling because I was like, I think I'm going through like some sort of ascension symptoms or there's someone else's energy. I'm like, I need to cleanse. I read the Bible last night. I meditated over the Bible. I read it and I was like, what have I not done? And I was like, I don't really feel like taking a bath. It's like I need to do something that brings me joy. And I had finished my readings and everything. I go, I went and I sat there, and God says, when was the last time you made a piece of jewelry for you, Molly? I go, wow,
That's a good question.
never, never.
That's legit. When's the last time you did something nice for yourself?
Yeah,
Uh,
no
yeah.
joke. And so I sat down with Puppy Moon, who is right here. Hi, Puppy. And I pulled out what I wanted, and it wasn't like anything like extravagant. I was like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna listen to my music and I'm gonna sing with you. And I go, okay. So I started doing it. And oh my gosh, what you're saying is so true. It made me feel so good. I was like, I love that.
Yeah, it does.
It's true. You go back to your childhood. What did you want?
Yeah.
What brought you joy? Like, what was something that you really wanted to do?
Camping, skating, and horses.
There you go.
And I'm working towards that. I've got like an awesome plan to build. I want to start my own company where we build alternative housing. And
That's incredible.
I'm actually going to school for interior design, and I'm thinking of minoring in theater so that I can do set design and stuff, which I love, and I love musical theater. I was singing on the stage Judy Garland and Barbara Streisand.
Wow, that's awesome. My dad loved Judy Garland. He loved The
Oh
Wizard,
man.
one of his favorites.
You know the song, let's Happy days are here again. The
Mm-hmm.
skies above are blue again. Oh my God. I got up on stage because I
Yeah.
have terrible stage fright and I'm trying to get past it. So I feel like God has been giving me these little
You just
um
sang on stage right here.
oh yeah, I did. Oh, that's right, I did. Oh my gosh. I'm like, we're just hanging
Woo!
out, so I didn't even remember that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and what's so funny too is like, you said you didn't want to like you weren't in the mood to take a bath. I love taking showers and singing and dancing in the shower. Like that
There
is
you go.
and God, I hope, please forgive me for revealing, but it's just, I don't, it's just so fun to like, because you're in your complete nakedness. You're
Yeah,
not only naked spiritually, but you're also naked in body and you're
yeah.
just dancing, you're having fun, and you're loving your body. And I just
Right.
like, it's just,
That's
bodies
me.
are so fun. Like,
That's me getting ready in the morning too. I was like, you're naked, or then you're partially dressed, and I still got the music going, getting ready for work, and I'm like dancing, and I'm like, oh, I'm so weird, and it's so great.
embrace your weird.
I
Yeah,
love it.
I used to live in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't know if you've ever been there before, but I highly
Mm-mm.
recommend it. It's an incredible town. A lot of, although with Helene, that tornado that just went through and like decimated it, okay, this is how much I feel like God is looking out. Like, and I hope this doesn't sound weird,
No, it
but
won't.
I-40, that Haywood County, where that all that damage was done, was where I lived with my mom and my son. And my mom would keep making herself homeless and things like that. So I'd have to take her in. And so, and she has been trying to get me to engage with her. And because I can sense something, it was like I was starting to panic. And then that tornado just hop, skip, jump over some states and it destroyed 40 right where we used to live. Like you can't even drive through anymore. The
Wow.
mountain pass and everything. And I was like, okay, God, I've seen some weird weather stuff before, like uh, but this is, and sure enough, like she's been amping up to like, because she needs a source. People
Yeah.
fed on me for so long. And this is actually what really bothers me about churches. They do not teach you how to protect yourself. I feel like churches have actually done a disservice to humanity and has taken away our it's like
It's always a middleman. It's
yes,
it's always
thank
a
you.
middleman.
Yeah,
It's us and God. He's
it's us and God.
here.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone to a couple church. I've actually gone to one church where they're actually pretty good about that. Their message and the pastor, especially being in this state, is like he's pretty he's very understanding and very compassionate, So I have run into some, but sometimes, when I look back on my childhood, I just especially as a young lady and becoming a woman, it just felt like I was being told to submit, 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 and it's not submit to God. It was submit to man.
We don't submit to man, we submit to
And
God.
yeah, and it's just I feel like
We
I,
cherish
I
God, we praise God, we love God.
yeah, we
We don't
do.
submit to a human or
Yeah.
anything besides God. No,
Yeah, and I actually had to learn that too. I mean, I had to learn about enmeshment and things like that because all that stuff happens in the spirit before it comes down to us. I mean, we give it
absolutely.
like Western medicine names and stuff, which I mean, I guess that helps us recognize what it
Yeah,
is. But you know, I think my goal with everything that's happened is one to continue to be a warrior and a spy for the Lord. What's crazy?
a warrior and a spy.
My grandpa was special forces and he spied on the Russians during the Cold War. So I found his book with all the soldiers and the
That's
supplies and stuff like
crazy.
yeah, yeah. And I'll have to tell you about my two grandmothers too. Um, but yeah, it's like again, like my son, and that's where I see epigenetics coming into play
Absolutely.
is inheriting that. I even have a book by Barbara Brennan
I love
called
her.
Oh, okay, you know who she is. I'm
I
like,
do.
ding. Okay, so she I love how she has the picture of you can see going all the way past in generations how that cord to that specific trauma 6 generations past is affecting this generation. But the only
Mhm.
way this generation can fix it and heal it is by acknowledging it, and going to God and giving it to God. You have to, and I feel like
Right.
watching you ladies with tarot right now, especially the ones that have been sent to me, your relationships with God are so strong and so mighty, and it comes through really, really well. I'm getting goosebumps all over again. It just comes through, and I, I feel like you guys are the bridge between God and people who have been deeply, deeply hurt and scarred
I know.
by churches. I mean, I grew up Catholic. So,
I love your face.
so I mean, listen, I've got my own theories about the Catholic Church. They hold a lot of books in the Bible that are not in the Bible, that they're refusing to let us read.
Hmm.
Why are you gatekeeping?
Release them. Set
Let us
it
learn.
free.
What's right? But what's crazy is like I feel like God is actually giving us that knowledge without the Catholic Church in different ways. Like I even look at
Right.
movies as being signs, like, oh, the Golden Compass.
I'll have to watch that again. It sounds familiar.
It's
The Golden.
incredible. But if you watch that, especially because we have spirit animals that connect to us, that are our guides and our friends, and they take care of
Right.
us. Like my Felix, if my son gets an attitude with me, he will start biting his feet and ankles.
Did that just pop up? Did a thumb just pop?
What was that?
I don't know. We just talked about spirit animals and spirit guides, and you started talking, and then all of this.
I did not, I don't even know how to do that. Where did that
I've never seen that before.
go? Okay, see, that's the kind of stuff that keeps happening. That's listen, I was at the beach one time and it was just me, my son, and this girl that I had to like kind of taken in, and I was trying to get her to like go back to college and stuff. I met her through the shelter. I tried to help the women there that were there after me, just to, give them encouragement and things like that. Reading Women Who Run with Wolves. Oh my God, that's an incredible book. That book let me know exactly what my mother did, especially with my own intuition, making me not trust mine, and instead I'm replacing my own intuition with her, um, which
Right.
I is evil. Like, oh my God, that's so evil to do to somebody. Like, what? It was like she would actually trade us energetically. So when people would throw things at her to hurt her, it would actually hit me. And when I know I'm going off, but when I got baptized the first time, oh my God, okay, that's another wild experience. I sat all the way in the back, the last row at a chair. So if I needed to run out the door, I
You're
could run.
like,
I had multiple exits already planned. Um, PTSD, yo. So there was a pastor there that talked about God being our father, and and how, like, if you have a father here that disappoints you and hurts you, you have a father in heaven that loves you. And that minister made a huge impact on me. I got up, walked to the front of the church, and I just leaned into this woman who actually ended up being one of the witches. So that's a whole other story. But it was the first step, though. It was a but she held, and I was crying hard. It was like that wail that we do when we finally, that pain is just there, and all you can do is just
really?
release that wail that we as women release, that it's almost feral.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I fell to the ground because I couldn't stand anymore, because I started tingling everywhere. And I later learned that that's the Holy Spirit wanting to come in my body, but I kept fighting it because it was terrifying me, and I didn't know. I didn't even know I didn't know anything, because I had been like tricked about God. But I did learn that for children, we associate God with our parents because of how they treat us. and what they normalize, because we don't, I mean, that's really big for us to understand at such young ages. Um, but I was, oh, sweet Lord, I forgot. Bubble burst again. I'm so,
No, it didn't.
I was, what, oh, can you help me like get back on track? I'm so sorry. Oh,
So the when you were getting baptized.
oh, okay. So, and it was crazy. I was able to see people's light and like the light that was shining out
Right.
of them. And the pastor was I thought a very kind man. He it just got weird later on, but that was because of that couple. But he held my hand and when he dipped me down into the water, and I will never, ever, 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 ever forget this. When my nose crested the top of the water, the crested back to the top of the water, I literally felt every chain, every dirty word, everything that had been projected and put on me. Because my parents, my family made me carry their trauma, their stuff. They would literally put it on me. And I
Right.
was carrying, I had chains. I'm actually going to send you a video too, um, about like showing it gives you a visual and it's a fantastic video, especially if you're healing inner child wounds, to help you understand like how those
That'd be
things
great. That'd be
attach to
great.
you. Yeah. I mean, this is my
Yeah,
goal with going back into tarot now that I can, God's giving me permission to do it. I really want to help people heal that generational trauma. Um, because I'm so passionate about it because I see what the
I
harm
love it. Yeah,
that it
of
does. And
course.
I really want to educate myself so I can educate others on how to
You
actually
have
I'm
so
teaching.
much knowledge too. You have so much experience and so much knowledge.
Thank you for saying that because sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like I have enough. And
Oh no, I think Father God has supplied you with a lot of experience. That's yeah, same with me. It's just a different type of knowledge and experience because we had to live it. You've had to live it and
yeah,
experience
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I actually I look back now because I where I'm at now, I look back on that and I see it's like like I'm even being guided to write a book series to for young adults that will have situations that are real life situations, but it will give you scripture to go to. It will give you
That's
things,
awesome.
and I kind of want to do it as a choose your own adventure because I feel like that's how God is because He gives us free will.
Yeah. We have a
So
destiny, but it gives us free will to choose our own adventure. Which
yeah,
adventure
so
are we going to
so
do today?
yeah, exactly. So that's something I'm working on. Um, and like you're creating a store as well. I actually started ceramics last spring and
Awesome.
I discovered something I did not know that I had in me. Um, I didn't know that I could do that with clay. And so, your store inspires me because I'm like, okay, Molly's doing this.
Thank
There's
you.
other people doing this. I can do this too because I've
Of
been
course you
so
can.
gun shy. Even just talking about it right now, my armpits are sweating because I get so nervous. Um, but I made some wonderful I love I love my boobs. I think they're just wonderful to hold on. They just
They're very
for
comforting.
they're very comforting. So I made this beautiful I wanted to bring it in here, but I didn't do it beforehand. I feel kind of but it's okay. I'll actually send you pictures of it, but it has breasts, but I had succulents as the areolas and the nipples.
Oh, that's so cool. What
Yeah.
a beautiful piece of artwork.
Yeah, so I want to make those
Whoa.
custom for women and their shape and size. Women who have had breast cancer, if they've had removal and scars and stuff like that.
I
So
think that's
that's
awesome.
yeah, and I actually want to make them into makeup brush holders. So
That's cool. The divine feminine. Here we come. Creativity,
yeah.
embracing the body. There's nothing wrong with it. There's
No.
nothing wrong with it. I think that's beautiful.
We are wonderfully and beautifully made, all of us. And we just have to, I just feel like you guys in this community that I have gotten to be a part of again, and it's different when I was watching them a few years ago. I feel like a lot of people have leveled up. You can see who's leveling up because they're actually, they're actually helping, and then I've seen others who I'm like, ooh, let you, I don't know, want to know what you got into. Like, um,
Yeah,
so, but seeing that bridge there is I think is so wonderful to help people realign with God and realign with themselves and to know that um, there's things that happen to us that are not our fault. They were
right.
done to us. We didn't ask for that. We didn't deserve it, that's for sure. But just healing this stuff is so it can be done. And I want people to know that so badly that they don't have
Absolutely.
to stay. They don't have to stay there. They don't have to stay down.
That's where our responsibility comes in. Sometimes we don't see it, we don't know. Um, and there are things that are done that are not our fault. But then God will bring it to our attention in some way. And we don't have to stay. That's where our choice comes in, that free
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then yes, and then we do have the choice to figure out, okay, what's that wounding? Why? Or what family trauma? What's going on and fixing? I feel like it is our nervous system. It's ingrained in us,
Yeah.
doing the work. Yeah, but you're right. They do not have to stay.
No, they don't. And I think that's something I really, really, really want to emphasize and be a part of the channel that I will be creating. I think after this, it's like this is actually my introduction to it was like God was like, okay, you wanted a way that wasn't going to be so here I got somebody who can help you out. So um because I kept getting like, start doing it. And I would just be like, then I'd run away.
He's like, go.
I know. He's like, stop
You're
being
doing
Jonah.
it.
Stop being
You're
Jonah. Don't
doing
make
it.
me send that whale after you because I'll catch up with your behind. So,
Hmm. He's
um,
like, you got this. You got this, kid.
yeah, yeah, and you know, I would say that my confidence is still being built, because it was. But I'll say like roller skating has really helped my confidence a lot. I actually started roller
Tell you
skating using my
what.
walker. Because I have to use a walker sometimes when my legs and or my muscles and stuff are not operating properly. So I just started like that, and it's like riding
That's
a
so
bike.
awesome. That's
It's
so
so much
awesome.
fun. I love
So
it so
happy for
much.
you.
People think I'm insane for going down hills, and I'm like, you have no idea the type of adrenaline rush you get. It's like surfing.
You're so fabulous, Mariah. You're so you're so alive. You're so beautiful. You're so fabulous. You have so much to give and just make sure that you give to yourself. Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you for
Amazing
saying that.
spirit. You're welcome.
You've really been picking up on me and your readings, and I'm really grateful because it helps me realize that all this hard work has been paying off, and that
I'm really glad. Really
yeah,
glad. Thank you.
yeah, thank you,
Because I have
thank you.
no idea. I'm just like, I'm gonna just deliver it for whoever it's meant to be for. And so that
Yeah,
makes me so happy. And I'm
yes.
speaking to one of the people that it's meant for. So I'm like, yay, it's for Mariah. Yeah.
It's reaching the
I'm
right
glad
one.
I know it will. I know that's
Yeah,
the way
it
God works.
it always will. And if like for me, I kept not wanting to like listen to because I was like, no, God doesn't want me to do that. Because I was going by man's rules and not by what God was trying to get me to see. He was to show me like how
Mhm.
far I'd come and things like that. So
Right.
yeah, I feel like I have a lot of projects going on at one time, but I feel like in the end, they're actually all coming together. Even a classmate of mine, he just bought 27 acres with his family, just bought
Wow.
goats for the first time. I was like, are you gonna have them clear land? Like, because do that. That's actually more earth friendly. And he was like, yeah, I just learned about that yesterday. I was like,
That's
bro, but
awesome.
It is. I was like, man, I've been wanting to do that for 20 years, but we're
Step
maybe
by step. Yeah,
it
I
will
know.
happen.
It
Um,
will.
He actually, I was telling him about the sustainable houses I wanted to build because we live in a tornado area, and I believe in building with the environment and building with, what are the weather patterns and things like that. So I'm very much into like round circular houses where the wind, like if you have something, the wind's gonna, but if you have something that it can smoothly go around, it's
That's
gonna
brilliant.
work a
That's
lot
brilliant.
better. Even drew, oh my God, I even drew like, they graft trees to make like elaborate fences and stuff like that. I'm like, what if we did that to trees and made like, and where they could hold a tree house? Like that's,
We're gonna have to chat more. We're
I know,
gonna have to chat more. I know. It's gonna
it's
this is awesome. So it's oh my gosh. Yeah, we're gonna you know what we didn't do? We
what,
didn't
oh my
even
God.
we didn't even welcome people in. We just
Oh,
started. No, no, it's okay. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. We love you guys. Thank you
yes,
for
we love
watching
you
us.
guys. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, we love you guys. Thank you so much. I hope my story helps somebody. I hope my ADHD didn't make it go all over the place.
No, your story is fantastic. You have a lot of knowledge to share. So I would like to do this again with you.
I
Absolutely.
would
It's
love
going to
that.
be about it. I think about an hour and a half, maybe longer, your podcast, which is
Oh,
fantastic,
wow.
full of fabulous
Okay.
information.
Well, I hope people find something useful out of it. Thank you for opening up your platform for this for so many of us, like, and just being so welcoming. Like, people like you matter and make such a huge difference on this planet. Your gentleness and very, very nurturing spirit, even you wearing sunflowers right now is like actually I have a painting that I bought from my favorite Japanese
Yeah.
artist, and it's literally a woman in a field of sunflowers.
Wow.
I bought that for my 40th birthday for myself. So you
That's
wearing
beautiful.
sunflowers today is like incredible. Because and that was a sign to me. So I just thank you for
Thank
all that
you
you
too.
do for all
Thank
of
you.
us. And yeah, I would love to do this again. You are awesome.
Absolutely.
It's such a
Thank
bright
you.
light and
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah, just
Thank
you're
you.
awesome. Please say hi to your puppy because oh my God, I love her snores. Like,
I will. She's right here. She's just waiting for me. I'm sure she wants a snack or something.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
she tilted her head. She's like, "Did
Oh,
you get a
okay.
snack?" I did. I
Well,
love you too. I love you all. You have no idea how
yes.
grateful I am for every single one of you. And you are such a beautiful, beautiful light as well. Such an inspiration, a lot of knowledge, and you make a huge impact too. I'm very grateful that we've been led together.
Me too.
So,
I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna go get that book and I'll actually send you some photos of my ceramic work.
your artwork. Yes, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'll send you some of that. So
That's so cool.
thank
That
you.
is
I'm
so
really
cool. You're
excited
welcome.
now.
I don't know why I'm thinking this may sound weird, but you were saying, did you say makeup brushes?
Yeah, I want to
I
make it
yeah.
so
I
to
was
make
even thinking like what would be kind of cool and take it or leave it. Like an incense holder or
Oh,
polish on, I don't
oh my
know.
God. What if I put holes in the nipples and that's where the smoke for the incense came out? Ooh.
That's what popped into my mind.
Okay, I have to write that down really quick. Hold on, I'm sorry. Incense hold because if I don't write it down, I'll forget. Incense holder,
Yeah. I
smoke
got
comes
this
out of
cool
nipples.
vision. And then the smoke. How cool does that sound?
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Their nipples are like little dragons.
Smoke. Oh gosh. Okay, we're gonna let everyone go. We're definitely
Yep.
gonna do this again. I
Yes.
adore
Thank
you,
you all so
Mariah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you,
bless you.
everyone. God bless you too. All right, we love you guys. Thank you for joining me and Mariah with the Walk with Faith podcast. This was so much fun. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
And
everyone. Take care.
we pray that you're
Bye.
always surrounded by the Most High God's love, protection,
Yes.
and blessings.
God
Mwah.
bless you all.
Bye, guys. Bye, Mariah.
Bye.
Thanks.